Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today we will be discussing, and hopefully you'll be helping me to share, this active manhunt. This is a terrible case. It's really, really sad. It involves the murder of 3 little girls, Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia Decker, aged 9, 8, and 5. And the person that they suspect murdered them is their own father. So please know that this case absolutely comes with a trigger warning. It's really, really devastating. This case has taken place in Wenatchee, Washington. Also, if we just zoom in over here, just so that you could picture it, the girls were found deceased in this area of Rock Island Campground. So this is all in Washington. If I zoom out here so that you could just see, sorry, let me just make myself a little bit smaller so you could just see the map as well. And of course, there's a huge search for this guy. Now, we're going to go over everything that we know so far. We're going to look at clips. We're going to look at the backstory. We're going to look at the timeline in detail and see the latest press conference as well. Okay, because there's been a few. So thank you so much to everyone who sent this to me on email this week. Since this has happened, I have been doing my best to get to it ASAP. Of course, if you have been here for a while or you were following what we were doing this week, I was covering a trial that was happening in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and so I could only get to this now. But I'm very glad to be able to cover this and to have you all here with me as we discuss all the details of this case. Welcome to all the new members. Welcome, Ocean Eyes. I hope you'll check out the members only playlist. Welcome to all my moderators as well. Thank you so much for everything you do. Everyone on Patreon, YouTube members, everyone. Welcome to all the locals as well. I know this must be incredibly scary because there's a very dangerous man on the loose and they have no idea where he is right now. Now, before we dive into my presentation, I do quickly want to, and yes, this is such a beautiful picture of the 3 little girls. Oh my goodness. I do want to quickly just show you a clip from the sheriff, so just check this out.
But we are not done searching. As we speak, the marshal's office, the FBI, they're processing leads, they're conducting follow-up, and we will not rest until Travis is located. Travis, if you're listening, this is your opportunity to turn yourself in. Do the right thing, do what you need to do, and take accountability for your actions. We're not going to go away, we're not going to rest, and we're going to make sure we find you. You will be brought to justice. Those young ladies deserve it. We will take additional questions later on, but the Sheriff's Office, the Wenatchee Police Department, East Wenatchee, Douglas County, and all of our federal partners are going to continue to work with one another to ensure that justice is served.
So that is Sheriff Morrison. We're going to watch one of his latest press conferences in today's live stream as well. But yeah, Travis, turn yourself in, he says. We're not going to stop searching for you. Right? You will be brought to justice. They assume, of course, that he is still alive. There's no sign that he isn't. And he has a lot of experience in the wilderness, surviving for 2.5 months at a time off grid. Mallory Beaver said, massive trigger warning, Grizzly. This just about broke me when I found out how their lives were taken. I know our Grizzly Queen will cover gently. I will do my very best, of course. Welcome to Catch Lisk. I see Catch Lisk is also in chat. Thank you so much for being here with us. And also thank you so much to Grizzly Cat for obtaining all the documents in this case for us so that I could pair that with all the research that I've been doing. And it certainly helped. And I'm going to be showing you quite a bit from those documents as well. I'm trying to keep it concise, of course. So I've just taken a lot of snippets, the most important parts for you so that we can just learn everything that we possibly can, right? Jean, thanks for being a member for 35 months. It's absolutely heartbreaking. So are we ready? Here we go now into our presentation. So there's a bit of backstory as well, just so that we can all understand, because I'm sure people will have a lot of questions, as I did as I was researching this case. Here's Grizzly Cat. Her link is in the description box, as well as the mod coffee link, my coffee link, Grizzly Cats, if you want to top up any of our coffee cups. So Whitney is the mom's name of the 3 little girls. I cannot imagine what this mom is going through. This case is really, really difficult. Whitney, I mean, she had, custody rights. She was sharing custody with the dad. The dad had visitation rights. And to think that now her 3 daughters have been murdered, it's unimaginable. So Whitney and Travis were married for 7 years. Some sources say 10, but the documents, which is why I love the documents, say 7 years. But they've been divorced since 2022. Travis had visitation rights with his 3 children, 9-year-old Paityn, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia. Like, the most beautiful children. Just look at them. Look at these little girls. And they were so close. They were like best friends. And there's TikToks of them and there's pictures of them. And it's just so sad. So here is already a snippet from one of the documents, the probable cause affidavit and the arrest warrant for Travis Decker, who's the one who the police are, of course, actively looking for in this active manhunt. If you're watching this in the future and they've already caught him, it won't help telling me that, because I will have a pinned comment to tell you that update if it is happening. I really hope that we will see that very soon. Now, it says Corporal Gonzalez noted that Whitney appeared distraught and looked like she had recently been crying. She advised that her and Decker were previously married but have been divorced for several years and have 3 children together. Along with the divorce, the two they've had a parenting plan in place, with the most current one issued by a judge on September 27th of 2024. The current parenting plan limits Travis Decker's visitation to every other weekend, with specific hours of Fridays from 5 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night, and Saturdays from 11 to 7, and Sundays from 9 to 5. The order also specifies no overnight visits, and the visits will only occur in the Wenatchee Valley. The Last Ronin says, thanks for covering Washington State. My state rarely gets covered. Mom knew and they ignored her. It's so sad. We're going to go over, that's why I think the backstory is important as well. Thank you so much for being here. And yes, welcome to all locals. Please make sure you stay safe. The police have said that if you are local to this case, of course, they're looking everywhere, but you need to lock, your barns, your sheds, your doors, your windows, and all of that. If you followed manhunts with me before, they do often say that. Remember the Danilo Cavalcante manhunt as well. They ask you to lock everything because the person who they're looking for could break into properties and could be very dangerous. So the couple who were married for 10 years met online. So the document says 7, some say 10. Sources from articles here met online when Travis Decker was stationed at the Joint Army Air Force Base in Washington and never spent a day apart after they met, Cozart said. Now, Cozart is Adriana Cozart, the mom's attorney. Due to Decker's transfers while in the military, the two lived in Italy for 2 years. Wow. And Georgia for another 2 years before moving to Wenatchee Valley. Travis's mental health allegedly began to spiral when he got out of active reserves in 2023. Whitney, the mother of the children, said that he would scream at her in the middle of the night. He would also only get 1 to 2 hours of sleep and would soak the bed. So that's from the PTSD and all the sweating and, it's terrible shame. It was apparently Travis Decker who initiated ending his marriage with Whitney Decker in 2023 because, and this was a quote, he felt like he wasn't worth it. Shame. He was really struggling with self-worth, with mental health, with PTSD. And Travis allegedly struggled with PTSD from his time served in the military, and he had been diagnosed, and this is something that Whitney shared publicly, with borderline personality disorder. Whitney and Travis's marriage, according to her, crumbled in 2022 and said that Travis had neglected his parental duties towards a child and has long-term emotional or physical problems that get in the way of his ability to parent. He was seeking mental health care, but was unable to obtain it. And that makes me so sad because apparently he really was trying to, but he needed an advocate in order to get it. There was a lot of red tape around it. And I mean, being a veteran, I don't know, one would just think it would be accessible to him, but it wasn't. Apparently it was really, really difficult. Not that Mickey said children are not pawns in a relationship, right? Parental alienation, terrible, and children are not pawns in a relationship, yes. So thank you, Not That Mickey, for being here as well. Now, he'd been granted visitations to visit his daughters, and we just went over the times as well from that snippet from the document. So, 3 hours on Fridays, 8 hours every other weekend, as long as he stayed in the Wenatchee Valley per the parenting plan filing. In the filing, Whitney also asked that Decker be evaluated for anger management or domestic violence and have a full psychiatric evaluation by a licensed psychiatrist to include any potential diagnoses. The filing stated that if Decker didn't follow through with these things, the mother will have the choice to further limit visitation. So the mother was raising red flags. She was saying she's already said he's not a cold-blooded killer. He broke, like there's something broke in him. This is not how she knows him at all. The children love spending time with him, but there was this planned, this parenting situation, this agreement, and she was worried about him. But no one would think that this could happen. What happened now? So in September of 2024, both parties stood in front of a judge requesting their court-approved parenting plan. I need to tell you this backstory because it will help for the context of everything. We are going to go over the timeline of exactly when he picked up the girls and what happened, but we need to know this foundation in order to understand the next part, right? So I hope that this is not boring for you. I don't think it would be, but if it is, just hang in there for 5 more minutes. In September of 2024, right, both parties stood in front of a judge requesting their court-approved parenting plan, in place since March of 2023, be temporarily amended. According to the recording, while both parties presented motions to request their proposed changes, the judge decided not to consider the motion presented by Travis Decker, who represented himself, after Whitney Decker's attorney objected, saying that he failed to file the motion correctly and did not serve Whitney Decker. Judge Robert Jordan agreed, and both parties instead presented their arguments for and against Whitney Decker's motion to amend the plan. Oh, thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. You're like, never boring, G, not boring. Okay, thank you so much. I love the details, and for me to understand a story, I want to know everything, and so that's what I'm bringing to you today, right? Kraken said, FYI, in Washington State, a lot of county government officers have a VA, a victim advocate liaison, to advocate for services because it's that hard to seek. Interesting. P.S. in the Manhunt area. Thank you, Kraken, for that. So Whitney Decker's attorney, Adriana Cozart, asked Judge Jordan to temporarily take away Travis Decker's overnight custody rights after expressing concern that changes in his personal life presented significant safety risks for their 3 children, including them having them stay with them at a National Guard armory. These poor little girls, they must have been quite scared, to stay with them leading up to what happened, and what happened is just absolutely terrible. They said the children were sleeping at the armory where there are obviously dozens of other men present, and the children were left at least once while Mr. Decker went to the Safeway, Cozart said. They are too little, and quite frankly, they shouldn't be staying in the armory anyway. Cozart also told the court that Travis Decker owed Whitney Decker thousands of dollars in child support and was homeless and living out of his truck or motels or friends' homes. Cozart also requested Judge Jordan order a domestic violence evaluation and full psychiatric assessment. Now, it is important to note, because I already saw some articles saying that neighbors said that he was a DV aggressor and all of that, but Whitney says that he wasn't violent towards her. So that's listed in the documents, right? Mallory Beaver says VA is Veteran Affairs, I think. Okay, interesting. If that's what it is, then help me out. Thank you so much. LJ, thank you. I wouldn't know. Abbreviations are not my thing. You got to spell it out for me. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this. So that's from Kraken's message earlier. Veteran Affairs. All right. So in response, Travis Decker acknowledged his struggle with housing instability, and he described the challenges that he faced transitioning from his career in the military, where he served as an army ranger, into civilian life. This is a quote from him, "When I was separated from active duty, I tried to figure out how to live as a civilian," he said. "I didn't have family, friends, or any support, especially moving to a state where I had no one to lean on or even a couch to sleep on." Travis Decker also told the court in order to provide overnight shelter, he would often take his daughters camping. "I don't believe that my weekends should be completely taken away since I've been gone," Travis Decker said. "Every time I've had the girls, we've been in campsites and national forests and paid campsites that have campers. We've never done anything that was unsafe or anything I wouldn't want to put myself in." Yeah, but what about the girls? I'm just saying, put myself in, but like 3 little girls. Shame. At the end of the almost 30-minute hearing, Judge Jordan granted Whitney Decker's motion and temporarily amended the couple's parenting plan. However, Travis Decker refused to sign any of the documents. He didn't sign any court documents. So the judge told Travis Decker that signing the documents was up to him, but that his order would be legally binding with or without his signature. Travis Decker also refused to attend any domestic violence psychiatric evaluations and assessments. Oh dear. So, yeah. Now we get to the timeline, okay? So trigger warning again, because this case involves the murder of 3 little girls. And the main suspect, the prime suspect, which there's an active manhunt for, is Travis Decker, their own father. Lee T said, VA Veterans Administration, we call it the VA in the US. Thank you so much. Now, Friday, May 30th of 2025, 32-year-old Travis picks his daughters up at their mother's home in Wenatchee, Washington at 5 p.m. for a court-ordered visitation. By 8 p.m., he failed to return the girls as scheduled. Whitney, their mother, tries to contact Travis, but his phone goes straight to voicemail. Can you imagine the fear she felt? And maybe even telling herself, don't worry, don't panic, everything's going to be okay. Maybe his phone died. Maybe they're just out camping. Maybe he's on his way. Like, what is happening? She's phoning and phoning. He will not pick up the phone. Phone goes straight to voicemail. Okay, so she reported her daughters missing immediately then to the Wenatchee Police Department. Whitney also told him that there's some concern about Travis's mental health and his failure to comply with court-ordered mental health treatment and anger management. So they've got a couple of clues already that there's red flags flying here. Wenatchee police began efforts to locate Travis, checking hotels, campgrounds, and using surveillance systems and vehicle tracking. Of course, also because he lived in his truck and was staying in campgrounds, hotels, motels, that sort of thing. So they start checking the area, right? An Amber Alert was not issued. I know that's a point of pain for a lot of people, right? Because they said, as the case did not meet the criteria due to Travis Decker's custodial visitation rights and lack of immediate evidence of abduction or imminent danger, because up to then, there was no sign that he would ever harm the children. Even though he struggled with PTSD, with his mental health, even though he was living in his car, even though there were red flags, no one thought he would ever harm his children. They thought his children were everything to him, right? Welcome, Erica. So, Whitney explained that she and Decker were married for about 7 years, but have since been divorced for a few years. She explained the divorce was civil, and initially Decker had housing, and he was allowed overnight visits. However, when he lost housing, the parenting plan was readdressed to accommodate accordingly. And I put that there. I know it's a bit of a repeat of information, but some of it's new. Because I've seen online, obviously from researching everything, that some people say, well, why would the mom give the children to him? Hello, it's court ordered. So I think the court, there's a lot of people to blame, right? But please don't blame the mom. You know what I mean? So she was following court orders and she was doing her best and she was raising all the red flags and all of that. So it's not like, it's like, oh, he's homeless and here we go, take the girls, enjoy yourself. No. Like, he wasn't initially. He had housing, but when that changed, when he lost housing, the parenting plan was readdressed to accommodate accordingly. Whitney denied any domestic violence during their marriage, but did mention moments of power or control that he used. She provided the examples of randomly leaving or waking her up by screaming at her in the middle of the night. She also said near the end of the marriage he was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and that she believes he currently does not take medications for. Now here's a picture of him. We're going to look at closer pictures as well. And I'm just showing you that picture because I was trying to look up his Facebook. I'm like, where is he? Like, what, did he say anything? I saw that on X, people are posting, there's like 2 pictures that he's posted. This is one of them. And another one they were saying, you know, it's like a mountainy area in, I think, Montana. And they were saying maybe he's there. I don't know. It's a little further back. You never know. Could be a clue. But I think the police will have obviously more leads and they know what they're doing and they're searching certain areas, concentrating around that area where they think he last was, right? Now, he posted this on Facebook on May 2nd of 2025, which just reminds me so much of Brian Laundrie, you know what I mean? It's just very eerie now, given that he left his daughter's bodies in nature, you know what I mean? It just, if you've studied the Gabby Petito case and you know about Brian Laundrie posting pictures just like that, then you know what I'm referring to, right? So it doesn't have to mean anything. It's just a little weird as an added red flag of his mental health that's deteriorating. He's starting to get a little bit darker thoughts. So, whoa, people have left comments all over that. Because somebody said, hey, what is that? And he said, it's deer bones in nature. And everybody else after that, since now this manhunt is going, shoo, more people are commenting. They are snarking over there, okay? Peter Ortiz said, I'm a combat vet and my local VA has been great with treatment and benefits, but we must make sure that all my fellow veterans are taken care of. That said, there's no reason to do what he's done. You also must want help. True as well. The sheriff actually said someone asked, what's the motive? He said, no motive would be acceptable. So it doesn't matter what his motive is. It's terrible what he is accused of doing. So while married, Whitney and Decker had 3 children in common. She identified them as 9-year-old Paityn, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia. They reportedly have a good relationship with Decker and enjoy their time with him. The overall relationship was reported to be good, and the children enjoy their time with Decker. Whitney also reported no issues with recent visitations and stated that her and Decker are communicative with issues surrounding them and if either will be late for any reason. So that must have been so scary because normally they would communicate like, hey, I'm running 10 minutes late. I'm so sorry, I'll be there soon. So now when suddenly she's waiting for her daughters, her beautiful daughters to return on a Friday night at 8 o'clock. Get ready for the weekend of activities. And they had activities planned. And there's nothing. It's dark and quiet. And like what? Trying to call him, goes to voicemail. What is happening? Reports they're missing. It's just what a nightmare. So she reiterated that Decker has never failed to return the kids. Oh my goodness. So, okay. So then, the parenting plan provided by Whitney specifies the visitation hours, discusses holidays and birthday considerations. Notable concerns or reasons putting limitations of parenting show that Decker has neglected his parental duties. We just read through that just 2 slides ago or so. So Decker is also supposed to seek mental health treatment and DV anger management counseling under the parenting plan, but has not. So I'm just showing you as part of the PCA as well. The exchange on Friday night. Remember, he went there on Friday, May 30th at 5 o'clock, okay? Occurred without issues. However, Whitney noted that Decker was quieter than usual, which was out of character. She mentioned the recent ticket being he got tickets for his driving. He'd been, sounds like crashing into things. And he got ticketed, so they say, she mentioned that the recent ticket being a financial burden for him along with garnished wages due to the back child support. She then added that he's been talking about getting rid of his dog due to housing and further financial concerns. Whitney stated that his children and his dog are the 2 big positives in his life. Of course, we ask ourselves, where's the dog? I hope the dog's okay in all of this as well, right? Now, Whitney also stated when overnight camping trips have been allowed, they have been planned in advance with clear details of the plans. The children also leave with a bag of clothing and appropriate attire to spend the night outdoors. And this time, obviously, they didn't because they were supposed to only go for 3 hours. When they left the home, they had the clothes on their back. Okay, that's all they had is what they were wearing. Oh, Kathy said they found the dog. Okay, good. Is it? Where did they find the dog? I want to know more. If you have any more information, please email me grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. Okay, now at the time of the initial report, Whitney explained that Decker does not currently have a stable residence. He's considered homeless. He's known to often stay in hotels, motels. He camps at local campgrounds. But Whitney did not know where to find him. Corporal Gonzalez then stated that he attempted Decker's cell phone. He tried the number. I've just made that little snippet because they put the number in there. And then they tried it, also just went to voicemail. Whitney knows that Decker drives a white truck, but was unsure what kind. She, however, noted that he had recently been cited, there we go, for driving without insurance. Corporal Gonzalez conducted a record search and identified Decker's truck as a white 2017 GMC Sierra. Number plate is that one there. Now, obviously, normally in a manhunt, one would say, look for the car, look for this, but no. They found the car abandoned. With his phone and wallet inside, food inside, no sign of him. We're going to go over what they found there. Court Locus said the dog was at the campsite. Is that so? I did not see that detail. Wow. The dog was at the camping area. That's one thing I missed. Oh my goodness. Okay. So yeah, there's no like look out for the vehicle. They found the vehicle unattended. So he'd been in a collision on May 27th of 2025 and was in fact cited for some infractions following the investigation by WPD Patrol. It also appears he was in another collision on May 4th of 2025 but left the scene. Call notes say that there was no damage to the other vehicle when patrol arrived and the other driver declined a need for follow-up. Okay, so Corporal Gonzalez, we're going over the timeline now. Okay, if you're only joining now, we are going over a detailed timeline of what happened in this case. Corporal Gonzalez checked Decker's vehicle registration through the flock safety and then found the truck, because now we want to know, how did they find the truck? How did they know which area to zero in on, right? Okay, so they looked through their flock safety system and found the truck last registered by automatic license plate readers northbound on the Wenatchee Bridge. There's a camera that they list there as well at 17:41 hours. Remember, he picked up the girls on Friday, May 30th at 5 o'clock. So at 5:41 p.m., they see him there at this North Wenatchee Avenue at Horse Lake Road. He noted this was likely after Decker picked up his daughters and suspected that he may be headed to a hotel or campground in the north end. After the contact with Whitney, Corporal Gonzalez checked all motels in the city limits as well as Confluence State Park. While at the Confluence, he spoke to a park ranger and was able to check their camping roster. Decker was not listed as staying at any campsite. East Wenatchee PD Officer Conley was contacted and asked to check East Wenatchee hotels, motels for Decker's vehicle. After a search of the area, Decker's vehicle was not located. Given the circumstances, an attempt to locate was initiated for all Valley agencies to be on the lookout for Decker, his vehicle, and the children. Something came out of this man and he broke. That's it. When the man picked up those girls, his babies, he did not have a plan to kill them. There's nothing that indicates that he did, says Ariana Cozart, the attorney for the mom. According to Cozart, Travis Decker picked up the girls on May 30th, talked to his ex-wife for 15 to 20 minutes, and then left. He said, "Hey, I'll see you at 8 p.m., and he left, and he never came back. Cozart said that Whitney Decker emphasizes that her ex-husband was never violent towards her or her daughter, saying that he was an active dad who was always in attendance at kids' dance classes, theater productions, and soccer games. In the past week, Travis Decker began telling his ex-wife that he had nothing except for you and the girls." That's a quote from him. But that did not raise concern for Whitney Decker, Cozart, her attorney, said. Okay, so Dolores, thank you so much for your sticker there. Fiona says, "I feel that if he wasn't keeping up with the required mental health treatment, he shouldn't have been allowed visitation with the baby girls." Right? I think there's a lot to learn from this case. Now, this is a quote from the mom saying, "He keeps getting more unstable. Wenatchee mother raised alarms before daughters found dead." So if you didn't know, the daughters were found dead. We're going to get to that. Welcome, Jen. So 8/30/23. This was listed in court proceedings in this plan that they had for the shared parenting. She said, "Didn't want the girls this weekend, even though it was his weekend. Said the girls walk on eggshells because of how he reprimands the dogs." 12/19/23. Olivia FaceTimed me screaming, crying that Travis was nowhere in sight. Paityn had to go find him and he was with the dogs. Told me that Paityn was unattended in the armory with Olivia playing on the lay pull-down machine and smashed Olivia's fingers. Wasn't comforting her. Olivia and Paityn were crying uncontrollably. Come to find out, they'd been sleeping in the armory. And then on 7/25/24, hitchhiked to my house and asked to stay in the basement with the girls. 3 hours late, said he could pick up the girls from the play, but he was hitchhiking, so the stranger would have had to pick them up. Ooh, those are some red flags as well, right? Okay. So now, let's continue on there. Saturday, May 31st. Let me just quickly do this. Okay. Saturday, May 31st of 2025. Now remember, they're supposed to be back on Friday, May 30th at 5 p.m. Saturday morning rolls around. A statewide, endangered, missing person alert is activated by the Washington State Patrol. Police continue to search for Travis and the children, focusing on, and I hope I'm saying this right, tell me if I'm not, Chelan County areas, based on tips suggesting that they remain in the region. One of the children had an event planned for this morning, which apparently was a 5K running event from what I read, which Travis and the girls did not show up for. So of course they all knew they would never, the girls would never want to miss that. So that was even more concerning as well, right? Deborah said, in my opinion, when he refused to sign court documents, absolutely no visitation should have been issued. And Debbie says, I'm made alive. All right, so then the Chelan County Sheriff's Office said, if you have any information, and they continue to say this, the numbers to call, the tip line where you can submit anonymous tips and everything is in the description box, okay? So you could call 911. They say if you have any information, contact 911 or Rivercom Dispatch. There is a Wenatchee Police Department. This is a Wenatchee Police Department case. Therefore, direct any questions or inquiries to that agency. Please share this post to spread the word. So you could follow their Facebook page, which is also linked in the description box, if you want to see, they're updating regularly, all right? Corporal Gonzalez investigated further and consulted with the Washington State Patrol Missing and Endangered Person Unit. He provided the facts of the case to screen for an Amber Alert, but based on the fact that there was no current evidence to believe that the children were at risk of serious bodily injury or death, it did not qualify. Ooh, that must hurt now, because they were at risk of serious bodily injury or death. So then they shared all these flyers as well. Oh, shame, man. Look at these pictures of Paityn, Evelyn, Olivia, as be on the lookout for them, and also for Travis Decker and the vehicle. They said he's got black hair, a ponytail, brown eyes, last seen wearing light shirt, dark shorts, vehicle a 2017 GMS Sierra. And you could see the description of the girls, and what they were last seen wearing is what they were found in. Oh my goodness. So then, Monday, June 2nd of 2025. Now you see that caution at the bottom there? That means trigger warning. There's going to be some upsetting, distressing information. If anything gets too much for you, just know that we'll save your seat, right? Now, 3:45 p.m. on Monday, June 2nd of 2025, a Chelan County Sheriff's deputy patrolling on a motorcycle locates Travis Decker's abandoned white GMC Sierra truck. Can you imagine that moment of like, whoa, there's the truck that we've been looking for. Near the Rock Island Campground, about 40 miles from the girls' home. It's located approximately 17 miles up Icicle Road west of Leavenworth. The truck has 2 bloody handprints on the tailgate. What? Okay, 75 to 100 yards, which for those of you who want to know, it's 68 to 91 meters from the truck, down an embankment. The bodies of the 3 girls are found. Now, seriously, trigger warning, because they're going to tell us how they were found, okay? Meaning I'm going to tell you, based on what they told us from all the documents and everything. Around the vehicle and along the way to where the children are located, officers or deputies located zip ties and plastic bags strewn throughout the area. The tailgate of the pickup truck also has what appears to be 2 handprints of blood. The truck has personal items to include blankets, car seats, food, miscellaneous items, and a wallet on the center console. Peter says this was no accident. He is no longer with us. Well, we don't know. We don't want to state that as fact. Of course, the police are not saying that at all. But in your opinion, yes, he might not be, but they're obviously treating this as if he's alive. Well, in the wilderness, they're searching for him. This is an active manhunt. So please, everyone, take it seriously. Like, share it. They need to find him. He could be extremely dangerous to others as well. So that map that I've got there, I'll show you a little bit closer again. But they said during the search of the area, an abandoned camp was located at nearby in the approximate area of those GPS coordinates, with signs of recent activity. The camp consists of a fire pit, a tent, and a cooler with a short walk from where the vehicle and bodies were located. Cell phone records show that Decker's cell phone acquired Saturday under exigency show that Decker likely traveled to the area on Thursday, May 29th of 2025 in the evening, and returned to Wenatchee on Friday morning. Under the totality of the situation, it appears that Decker drove through the area the night prior and returned the next day with the children. So that does show either that he was just planning to go camp there or premeditation. Is it premeditated camping or premeditated murder? Either, whatever happened, it was terrible because all 3 girls are dead. So they said, and by the way, obviously this came from a search warrant, right? They didn't know this on day 1. They were looking for him. They were looking for the truck. They zoned in on an area, but they weren't sure exactly where he was. So now let me show you quickly. Let me show you on the map here. Hold on one second. This. We want to bring up the map over here. Hello. Sorry, I'm trying to just put it above my presentation so we don't lose our place there. Okay, so Wenatchee is where they were picked up from. And the girls' bodies were found near this Rock Island Campground, down an embankment. But he was apparently camping. These are the coordinates. So I typed in those coordinates, and it's to the west of that. You see, like that. So let's just see details. From Wenatchee from Rock Island Campground, it's what? A mile. Let's take this out here. Whew, it's a mile. It's only a mile away. It's within a mile of where their bodies were found. Short walk, as they said. He was camping. They believe it was him the previous night. Okay. So that's probably where everyone's saying the dog was found, right? Preliminary examination suggests that the likely cause of death was asphyxiation. They say, yeah, a fixation, but asphyxiation. The girls' wrists were zip-tied or showed signs of being zip-tied, and they were also positively identified as PD, ED, and OD by the Chelan County coroner. Yeah. So let's just see. I think I'll put more details on the next slide here. Yeah, trigger warning. Okay. Evidence at the scene. There are plastic bags and zip ties scattered around the location where the truck is found. And the girls are found deceased with zip ties on or near their wrists and plastic bags over their heads, suggesting asphyxiation as the cause of death. That is the most horrifying thing I could imagine. It's very difficult, this case, right? It's like, whoa. I mean, okay. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office issued a warrant for Travis Decker's arrest, obviously after discovering, whoa, this is not just like now a custody issue. This is now a warrant for his arrest on 3 counts of first-degree custodial interference, and later upgraded to 3 counts each of first-degree murder and first-degree kidnapping. A large-scale manhunt began involving local, state, and federal agencies, including the FBI, U.S. Marshals, U.S. Border Patrol, and the Department of Homeland Security. The search focuses on the Okanogan-Wenatchee National Forest and surrounding areas, and a vigil was held to mourn the loss of Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia. I do also have clips to show you, so I'm going to show you those in between. So we'll get back to this in a moment here. Let's look at this clip right here quickly.
The entrance to the Enchantments, which is just a few miles up this road. This is where authorities believe Travis Decker could be hiding. They haven't said specifically if he's been seen in this area, but this is part of where crews are narrowing in their search.
It's one of the most serene and peaceful places in all of Washington.
Yesterday evening, I drove up to see the sunset, and we drove all the way up, no road closures.
The Enchantments are now intertwined with a dangerous manhunt.
Then I drove up this evening, and the road was obviously blocked off.
Authorities are searching for 32-year-old Travis Decker. He's accused of killing his 3 young daughters.
You can't stop halfway, Evie.
Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia, found dead near Leavenworth Monday.
Whitney.
Did you see how cute they are? Oh my word, such beautiful, close as ever sisters.
Near Leavenworth Monday.
Whitney is living every parent's worst nightmare. The hole in her heart is immeasurable.
Decker hasn't been seen in days as the sun now sets on the 4th day of this search. Fear is growing.
It's so out of the ordinary, especially just knowing that this guy, the suspected killer, lived in the same area that I grew up in.
Legal experts say this shouldn't have happened.
There were a number of red flags.
Decker, a veteran, had documented mental health issues, and yet Professor Deirdre Bowen says the system left the children vulnerable. She points to court records that show the girl's mother raised concerns during a parenting plan modification last fall.
Clearly, these 3 children should not be sleeping on a mattress in an armory of what appeared to be a men's homeless shelter.
A dark cloud now hangs over these mountains, but locals say the light here will shine again.
Hopefully, they obviously find the person that did all of this. I hope it doesn't affect what everyone's perceives this as, because it is a very beautiful place.
Authorities say if you see Decker, do not approach him, call 911. There is now a $20,000 reward for any information that leads to his arrest.
There is a $20,000 reward now for any information leading to his arrest, which the police announced at their press conference as well. So yeah, and that's important to note as well. If you see him, do not approach him. They think he could be armed and dangerous. They don't know if he is or isn't, but he could be very dangerous. So all you got to do is call 911 or the numbers in the description box, or that they've shared as well on all their pages, right? Now on Tuesday, June 3rd of 2025, there was a press conference held at the Wenatchee Police Department where Sheriff Mike Morrison and Captain Brian Chance outlined the timeline and confirmed Travis Decker as the primary suspect. A $20,000 reward for information leading to Travis's arrest is announced, and the Chelan County Sheriff's Office warns that Travis, a former military member with extensive wilderness survival training, is considered armed and dangerous. He's described as 5'8", 190 pounds, with black hair, brown eyes, and distinctive tattoos, last seen wearing a light-colored shirt and dark shorts. So then they were starting to share more pictures of him than what they had previously. They previously had one picture in the truck, and then they started releasing all these other pictures. So I've just zoomed in on them for us so that you could see the tattoos, because that's going to be hard to hide. You know, we've seen manhunts often, actually. We saw one in California. Remember that lady that's accused of killing the fire captain? Yeah, those tattoos, I mean, you can just spot them in public anywhere. So if you see any of these tattoos, I mean, look at it. There's I don't know if that's a whale or a shark. Is it a whale? And there's all of those. You could just see everything that's on here. You could zoom in as well. You could see it on the Facebook pages that I've linked below for you as well if you want to zoom in more. But if you see this guy, because you can see he can look quite different. He can really switch up his look quite a bit. Then please call the police, because that would be very important. Of course, he's got a WWJD, or what would Jesus do? Band on. Not what you're accused of doing, dude. Deception detective said, when people, and welcome, you said when people are too timid or clueless to see the obvious, the weak end up suffering. Poor kids. Those poor kids, right? I'm not at all on board with blaming the mom or anything. But those poor kids, I can't imagine how scary it must have been for them to be picked up on a Friday night at 5 o'clock and think, yay, we're spending 3 hours without dad. And it seems like he drove them straight to that campground. And I don't even want to say the rest, because how they were found with zip ties and plastic bags over their heads, it's unthinkable. And together and down an embankment. On Wednesday, June 4th of 2025, aerial and ground operations were expanded, with the Spokane County Sheriff's Office providing 2 helicopters and the Chelan County Sheriff's Office Air Support Unit conducting searches. Federal investigators, including the FBI and U.S. Marshals, we know they always do a good job, Brian, join the manhunt. A possible sighting of Decker is reported in McCall, Idaho, but the Chelan County Sheriff's Office later confirms that it was not him. Authorities then execute search warrants on Travis Decker's electronic devices, because remember, he left things in the phone, uncovering new leads. He searched online for how to relocate to Canada less than a week before the girl's deaths, right? Yeah, deception detective says the court's fault, not the mom. Reminds me of the treadmill dad case. Oh my word, remember that case? Yes, oh my goodness, yeah, the court, oh my word. So now they're looking, obviously, like, is he making his way to Canada or what? Sheriff Morrison noted that a shirt found in Icicle Creek near the campground where the girls' bodies were found prompted a water rescue team to search the 8-mile creek. Right? Then, this is now from the documents that Grizzly Cat obtained for us. Thank you, Grizzly Cat, so that we could see the searches that he did with our own eyes, right? Search on 5/26/2025, so the 26th of May. And I mean, he picked up the girls on the 30th. Okay, so He visited Find a Job in Canada, a website. He searched for jobs, Canada. He's kept searching for jobs, and he also searched for how to relocate to Canada, visited Google search, as well, a website, and searched for how does a person move to Canada. So not only is he looking to how to move there, but also, wow, like how to work there and all of that as well. Now they say in this document, thanks Grizzly Cat, they say in this document the location, because I was wondering like how can he get there? How close is this to the Canadian border where he was? They say in this probable cause affidavit, the location of the victim's remains is relatively close to the Canadian border and approximately 11 miles from the Pacific Crest Trail, a well-established trail that leads directly to Canada. Decker is a former military member with training in navigation, woodland, mountainous terrain, long-distance movements, survival, and numerous other disciplines needed to be able to flee from the Eastern District of Washington. It'll be quite a walk for him, but he's trained to do it, right? Thursday, June 5th of 2025, the Chelan County Sheriff's Office released new doorbell camera footage from days before he picked up his daughters and new photos of Travis Decker emphasizing his tattoos and identification. So they're showing all these pictures, him with long hair, there with the hair's loose because he's got a ponytail now, apparently. And so let me show you now this ring cam footage that they released as well, which I was like really confused about it. What do you mean? What is he doing here? They haven't specified. I've tried to find everywhere, like whose house is he doing this at? They don't say, but he went up to someone's home and was like feeling the door or something. Look at this.
We are getting a fuller picture of Travis Decker, the man whose life appeared to be falling apart with mental illness, homelessness, and the inability to hold down a job. And access to his kids was cut to every other weekend after a custody hearing 9 months ago.
He was an engaged father. He did have some limitations on his parenting time due to his mental illness.
The mother's attorney in the custody case says Travis became homeless a year and a half ago after leaving the Army as a Ranger.
He left voluntarily, so I believe his discharge was honorable. I think as far as the reserves, he just stopped showing up.
The attorney says Travis worked a couple of minimum wage jobs and at one point was talking to the Carpenters Union about possible work, but his skills just didn't transfer.
There were no red flags.
And on his Facebook, he says he does work for the Carpenters Union. So it's interesting that he was looking to work there, but it didn't pan out, but he said on his Facebook he is.
He was struggling with isolation. And
records show Decker was diagnosed with a serious mental illness. The attorney says that was most likely related to his combat and that Decker tried and tried to get help, but there was too much red tape to get veteran services.
She really feels that the system let her children down. It was the inadequacies in the services for our veterans that killed those children. That's it.
The attorney and the mom are also raising concerns about the state's Amber Alert system. Law enforcement officials say they did not see Decker as an immediate danger to his own children, so no Amber Alert was sent out. The attorney says the mother thinks that was a deadly mistake.
They did not see him as an immediate physical danger to his children, despite the fact that he had a well-established history of mental health issues. And had they had seen it that way, those children might still be alive. And that's the thing that is so brutal. And the one thing she's really hoping can be changed in this tragedy.
Okay, so we've seen that as well. Now let's keep going here with our presentation. I've got 2 more clips to show you after this. Okay, so somebody was just asking, Cynthia was saying, why would he be in McCall in, I guess Idaho? That is 7 hours southwest. Well, that was days before. The ring cam was days before he picked up the girls on the 30th. They don't specify the date, but it was days before. So they're just showing what he looks like would be the point of them releasing that ring cam, right? It's not part of the manhunt. It's just part of, meaning it's not part of where they think he is now. It's just part of to show his identity, what he could look like. Thursday, June 5th, of course, as we know, we went over this, that they released the new doorbell cam footage and new photos of Travis Decker emphasizing his tattoos, because he can look very different, but the tattoos will be hard to miss. On June 5th still, the U.S. Forest Service ordered an emergency closure of the Icicle River area in the Okanogan-Wenatchee National Forest, including trails to Snow Lakes, 8 Mile Lake, Kolchak Lake, Stewart Lake, 4th of July Creek, and the Icicle Gorge, effective through June 18th. The North Cascades National Park also closed trails in the Lake Chelan National Recreation Area, including sections of the Pacific Crest Trail. Of course, they want to keep everybody safe, so yeah, if you were planning to go camping there now, don't. You can't anyway, it's closed, I'm just saying. So residents in Chelan, Cascades, King, Snohomish, how do we say that again? Snohomish, and Okanogan counties are urged to lock doors, sheds, and outbuildings, leave window blinds open, and keep exterior lights on as Decker remains at large. He is wanted. There's a $20,000 reward for information leading to his arrest. Friday, June 6th of 2025, the Chelan County Sheriff's Office confirms ongoing searches and new leads from executed search warrants. Over 100 officers, agents, and deputies are involved in continuing to search for Travis Decker. The Enchantment Trail region in the Cascade mountain range remains closed to support the investigation. The GoFundMe, there is a GoFundMe for the mom, and I will put that in the description box as well, and it surpassed $1 million, which reflects obviously the widespread community support, because it's like people just cannot imagine what she is going through. To lose all 3 of your children like this is just, in any case, in any way, but this is so, so terrible. I cannot imagine that grief. Kimberly Gray said, where did the blood come from? We don't know. I also wonder. We don't know. There's the 2 handprints that they thought was blood on the tailgate. Yeah, we don't know. I don't know what's happening with that. So then we almost done here. Saturday, June 7th. That's today, everyone, at the time of this live stream. Saturday, June 7th of 2025. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson orders National Guard resources, including helicopter transportation, to assist in the manhunt, focusing on remote areas. The search expands across Chelan, Okanogan, Cascades, King, and Snohomish counties, with authorities following up on hundreds of tips and new surveillance evidence. Interesting. What do they have? What do they have? Okay, wait. Snohomish. There are a lot of Native American words for places. I just remember everyone teaching me how to say that, and I didn't think it was like as it's spelled, but okay, we'll check. I'll work on it. Travis Decker remains at large, and the public is urged to report sightings to 911 or the Chelan County Sheriff's Office tip line and there's the number. YouTube, this is public record. YouTube disclaimer. I'm not sharing a number I'm not supposed to be sharing. In fact, I'm very much supposed to be sharing it because this is an active manhunt for a very dangerous person. So all the numbers, the link to the tip line where you can submit an anonymous tip is in the description box, and of course on all the Facebook pages that I've shared with you as well. So I hope that presentation was helpful. What we're going to do is quickly look at this final slide. Then we're going to look at 2 more clips, and I'm going to show you some resources as well that are linked below. Travis Decker joined the U.S. Army in 2012 and served a tour in Afghanistan before joining the Washington Army National Guard, where he holds the rank of sergeant. Wilderness survival was part of his training when he joined the Army. They said, we've learned so far through our investigation today that he is well versed in outdoor survival, said Sheriff Morrison. In talking with his father, it sounds at times he would go out and live off the grid, sometimes for up to 2 months. They also said that he used to go geocaching, so they are considering the possibility that he may have even planned this and planted supplies, you know, for his survival out there. If he is out there and alive, right? There is a possibility that he might not be, but they're obviously treating this as if he is, because that would be high risk, very dangerous. Now, further, during the investigation, it was learned that Decker is a very avid and well-versed outdoorsman. Prior to the above alleged crimes, Decker frequently recreated outdoor in woodland, mountainous areas throughout the Eastern District of Washington and surrounding states. Amongst other outdoorsman activities, Decker frequently engaged in hiking, camping, survival skill practice, hunting, and even lived off the grid in the backwoods for approximately 2.5 months on one occasion. If you see or believe you've seen him, you know what to do. These are maps that they're sharing regularly on the Facebook pages to update everyone on, you know, what's happening, which areas are closed, and all of that, which I've linked below for you. So that is it for our presentation. Now I want to show you this one quickly, which is a new clip, from today.
Deploying the Washington National Guard to assist in the search for Travis Decker. the man accused of killing his 3 young daughters. Thanks for being with us. I'm Steve Solis. The governor posted on X saying at the request of the Chelan County Sheriff's Office, helicopters will help reach remote areas. Federal officials say Decker previously expressed interest in possibly heading to Canada. KOMO's Ryan Sims joins us live from Wenatchee tonight. Ryan, this all comes as Decker has now been charged at the federal level.
Yeah, that was one of the major developments today, Steve. He is now facing a federal charge of unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. As you just mentioned, the governor is getting involved. He's calling on Washington's National Guard to help assist in the search for Decker. The governor also added that if you see Decker, call 911 immediately and do not approach him. According to information in these federal charging documents, Travis Decker suddenly expressed interest in heading to Canada on May 26th, just days before the murders of his 3 young daughters. Authorities say he Googled such things as how does a person move to Canada, how to relocate to Canada, and Jobs Canada. It comes as investigators have said that Decker may be in the area of the Pacific Crest Trail, which does lead directly to Canada, resulting in several trails being closed for security reasons.
Them shutting down state parks, I don't think is a good idea. I mean, the more people out there could see them, the better, right?
Authorities insist the precautions are critical. They tell KOMO dozens of additional law enforcement workers have been brought in to help with this major manhunt. In the process, they say they have fielded 500 tips from the public so far, all as so many people grapple with the truly sad and disturbing week here in central Washington.
I feel that there's a guy out there that's killing people, his own family, and wants him to stop from killing somebody else.
And as that manhunt continues, major manhunt at that, it'll likely be on Monday that we get those autopsy results about those 3 young victims. Coming to you live from Wenatchee tonight, Ryan Sims, KOMO News.
Ryan.
Okay, so that was that latest clip as well. Just remember, I'm just looking at the comments as we're watching these clips, that this is obviously nothing to do with him having been in the military or anything like that. They just are highlighting his strengths and survival skills and training he's done and all of that. And he had mental health struggles related to his service as well. He had PTSD. He was diagnosed recently, according to Whitney, his ex-wife, with borderline personality disorder, and he was struggling a lot and struggling to get the mental health assistance, right? Deception Detective said, great and important video, too heavy for me to cover, but glad you're on it. Thank you so much, Deception Detective. I mean, this case is really, really heavy, right? It's a difficult one. So, okay, I do hope that he is found, though, so, right? So, okay, I want to show you this quick press conference here. It's about, we're going to watch about 11 minutes of it. This is the most recent one, okay, with Sheriff Morrison.
Trying not to disturb anyone's microphones here. Do appreciate everyone coming out. We don't have as much information to provide today, but we have been working tirelessly throughout the day with our federal resources, state resources, neighboring agencies. As always, I'd like to start off just by recognizing the Decker family, let them know they're still very much in our thoughts and our prayers. We've been working hard. Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia are clearly a motivating force for us. A lot of our guys are working with sleep deprivation, but their thoughts are always on the girls and making sure that we're staying motivated and getting the results the family expects out of us. So, as we mentioned before, not much to go off of. We have been following leads thanks to the FBI and their analysis team that has been going out, processing social media leads throughout the nation, not just here locally. Following up those leads, we've been assigning detectives, marshal services, representatives to go out and do interviews. We also appreciate the nation police departments. We had one in McCall, Idaho today, was doing follow-ups for us. So we're not just keeping our focus here within Chelan County, we're also focusing nationwide on other leads that are coming out. Again, thank you to those police departments, sheriff's offices, state agencies across the nation that have stepped up to assist us and giving us the additional resources that we desperately need. Clearly, this is not the outcome we wanted to see. We were hoping that we could find Travis today, but we are feeling optimistic thanks to our Marshals Department that has come through and tracked down some good leads that we feel are giving us more of an insight into Travis's mindset, where he may have not gone or may have gone to. And we'd also like to thank the FBI and their behavioral analysts unit that has also gone through, done an assessment of some of the interviews that we've had regarding Travis and made a determination on maybe what his thought process was, what decisions he might have made, and where he had gone. In addition to our detectives also following through some of the financial documents, tracking areas that he had previously frequented, and we're optimistic that we will find him shortly. We'd also like to thank Spokane County Sheriff's Office for coming out, Sheriff Knowles, having their helicopter fly from 6 o'clock this morning to 11, as I understand it. At 11 o'clock, our helicopter was also on ground at the fish hatchery in Leavenworth to fly the Icicle Creek. We also deployed our swiftwater rescue team to go through there and start searching the creek in cases that Travis did enter in there. The water is running pretty quickly now thanks to the spring runoff, but we're optimistic that with our air units up in the sky looking over the terrain, it's definitely diverse when you're talking about the amount of acreage that we're covering, that we're doing the best we can. We also want to thank Sheriff Myers down in Kittitas County for deploying some of his search and rescue units, checking trailheads on the backside of Chelan County to see if there's any opportunity that Travis might have made it out to that location. We have learned so far through our investigation today that he is well versed in outdoor survival. And talking with his father, it sounds at times that he would go out and would be living off grid for sometimes up to 2.5 months. So we also understand too that he at times would do caching. So we understand that that's a possibility that he could have scoped out this area before, put supplies out there, and has the ability and the knowledge to survive for a long period of time. We saw this before a couple years ago when we assisted Kittitas County with a similar case. So we are putting our resources out. We saw our SWAT team today out off the icicle drainage, checking residences through there, in addition to us still having units out on the ground, continuing to check, in addition to expanding out and looking at local counties. So we're going to continue to do what we need to do, partnering with our federal partners. We will again want to say thank you to the FBI, Homeland Security, that has assisted us more yesterday. Also going with the Marshal Services, the Washington State Patrol that has been working alongside of us, along with their detective units. And we've also had a forensics electronic detective going through the cell phone and other electronic items that we've collected on the scene. So we're hoping to gather more information, take that intel that we've gathered today, and continue to press on tomorrow. But at this time, we have not found Travis. My message is still the same. Travis, if you're out there seeing us, we'd like you to turn yourself in. We want a peaceful resolution to this, but we're not going to relinquish our efforts and giving up any effort that we can proceed to track you down. So please turn yourself in. Let's wrap this up and do what's right for your kids. So any questions?
Okay, we'll get to the questions now. So Daniel Gorbia said, as a combat veteran myself, I hope people don't think all veterans would do something so horrible to their own kids. This is truly a one-off, fell through the cracks of VA bureaucracy. That's the thing. That's why I was saying what I said. So Shauna said, Shauna, this is why I said what I said, because people might feel like people think that veterans are capable of this, but that's not what people are saying, right? Shauna said, I disagree. This has a lot to do with his service and the lack of urgency from the VA. Whether medical or psychiatric, it comes too little, too late, if at all. That's the problem, is the lack of support for the veterans, right? And for mental health, especially if he's showing all these signs, he's got PTSD and all of these factors leading up to this. One would hope that they would get the support that they need in every state then, or everywhere, worldwide. All of it, obviously, with an international audience. But that is what people are addressing, not saying that, oh my word, he's a veteran and look what he did. No one's saying that. Well, if anyone's saying that, please stop saying that. No blaming the mom. No blaming the fact that he's a veteran. That's very short-sighted, you know what I mean, and inappropriate. So it's just to factor in, well, what experience does he have? What happened? What are some of the factors that could have led to him feeling completely unsupported and all of that? And that doesn't excuse what he's accused of doing. It's just part of the story. We're learning everything that we can about this case, of course. Thank you so much all for being here. As C. Taylor said, our veterans are cherished, right? And Kay's beautiful struggle, see, some people need to hear that because they're feeling like, wait, what? Based on what people are saying in the chat. You said, of course, oh no, of course all veterans aren't dangerous. Exactly. Okay, so now we get to the questions portion. Are you guys focusing? I just saw you all commenting on very good looking man over here. Focus on what he says, okay? The content is very important.
Sir, are you any closer to establishing a motive? No, and I don't think there'd be any motive that'd be acceptable. I mean, clearly, it's not the decision of a sound mind, and these young girls were a victim.
Was a body discovered in this area you're searching near Leavenworth today?
They were discovered earlier this week. It was outside Leavenworth. You're more up icicle drainage around milepost 18, around Rock Island Campground. And we do have a map that I think we've already shared online, but it is more of a rural campground.
Was there, maybe it's unrelated to the case?
Okay. No, there was another individual that was located today, not related to the case, and that was out towards the Big Y where US 2 and 97 connect, but not related to the case.
Sheriff, you mentioned McCall, Idaho. There were reports of possible sightings, or maybe it was just the fact that the department received tips. Any credibility to some of that? I know you mentioned they did some investigating. What have you learned from that?
I can tell you so far today we had a possible sighting on East Leavenworth Road. We checked that out. It was not Mr. Decker. We had another one out at milepost 83, US 2. And then, of course, we continue to hear information about other possible sightings from across the nation. As we understood, based off the information we got back, was that the sighting in McCall, Idaho was not our suspect, but we'll continue to work with our neighboring agencies, not only here in the state, but across the nation, to help us track down any leads we do get.
What kind of head start do you think he had, knowing the truck was found Monday? When do you think he started to go out?
Worst case scenario, we could see that he might have gotten a head start on Friday, so he would have had the whole weekend to be out there. But we're still tracking it down. We will have our autopsy results. It should be coming back tomorrow, and we'll get a better idea of what kind of time frame we're looking at.
So Janet True said, did he do those searches about Canada to lead police in the wrong direction? I mean, it's always a possibility, but he did do it 4 days before he picked up his daughters, right? So could be calculated, or it could just be that that's his plan, that he wants to head there, right?
Knowledge that you guys may have of him possibly making his way back to Wisconsin, where he's from?
We're not ruling anything out. So, I mean, we have been in touch with agencies, of course, across the nation, and just tracking down leads. We are aware of other connections he has. We've interviewed friends, co-workers. We're optimistic that we can track down his location.
Those notification sounds, by the way, are on the press conference. I was listening to this on a walk, this most recent one today, and I'm like, what? Like checking my phone, checking, wait, what's that? Because it happens, I think, 2 or 3 times. So just know, it's not me, it's not you, it's on the press conference, okay?
Did you find in that truck any writing, any note?
Our detectives are still going through that process. I know that we worked with the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab yesterday, in addition to our detectives, process all that information. And today, as I was leaving our emergency operations center, we did have members of the Washington State Patrol that were processing some of the cell phones we located in the vehicle.
What military training does he have that could be a factor in his ability to elude authorities?
We do understand, and we're getting more confirmation that he might have possibly gone through mountain survival school, but we also know too that he's been an outdoorsman since he was a kid. Talking with a parent, it seemed like this was something that he was attracted to, liked doing in his free time. So clearly some of the knowledge he's probably acquired throughout his lifetime, in addition to the training he might or might not have acquired through the Army, is something that we're taking into consideration. But we do want to validate what trainings he's actually gone through, and we do have some U.S. Marshals tracking that down as well.
Sheriff, what is your reaction to the fact that he's been out and about, you said, for as long as 2 months? Does that give you room for pause that he is no stranger to being out and living off the grid for so long?
Well, we're certainly an agency that learns from the past. I mean, we saw this before, I believe, around North Bend. I don't know how many years ago that was, where they had an individual who had been involved in a similar incident and then had dug himself a bunker out there. So we take that in consideration, that he may be aware of our surroundings, has the ability to survive, and that's going to certainly make it more challenging, but we're up for that challenge. I mean, we recognize that 87% of our county is not accessible by road. We've been dealing with that over the last 125-year history of this agency, so we're no stranger to that. We're aware of our terrain, and we'll continue to work with our federal partners and U.S. Forest Service that has stepped alongside of us to assist us in possibly closing down some of the trails in the area in order to ensure, of course, that the environment stays safe for anyone who may come to visit, but that we also have access to go through there and start checking all the trails and locations that we believe he may recreate.
Sheriff, the longer this goes on, what concerns do you have about, you talk about the fight or flight mentality and when desperation kicks in. Obviously there's that survival skills element of it, but the longer it goes on, I mean, we've seen where things often go. Do you have concerns for whether it be those who are out looking for him, like just kind of where this could all come together, and that mentality someone may have when desperation mode kicks in?
We understand the mentality we're dealing with. We have a well-trained agency. We're a leader when it comes to de-escalation here in Washington State. We were one of the original agencies for that training hub, so we understand that we have the ability to control the pace of situations. We have behavioral health units. We have the ability to communicate with them, and we're going to continue to do that. But our primary goal is to track him down. Of course, we want to make sure that he's safe, but ultimately he will be brought to justice.
We only have about 2 minutes left of this press conference, and then I'm just going to show you the Facebook pages and the GoFundMe as well. Also, I just see some people saying, you know, he was offered mental health assistance and declined. I don't think he officially declined. I think he was very paranoid, wasn't sure, didn't take up on it. I know he didn't sign those court documents, and no, I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but I think he was really struggling with his mental health. He was really not okay, and I'd read somewhere that he was struggling, being paranoid, not sure exactly what to do, trying to reach out because he needed an advocate to help him get the right mental health services, but that was proving difficult for him and he couldn't do it himself. That's also what Whitney's attorney has said in some of the clips. You can find her interviews as well. We watched some of it, but you can find some more of her interviews on YouTube as well.
What makes you confident given all these challenges?
The amount of partners that have come alongside of us. I mean, again, I've cited the U.S. Marshal Service, the FBI. We've had Homeland Security investigations. We've had Border Patrol's tracking team here. We've had Douglas County, East Wenatchee. The amount of resources that we put on this right away gives me confidence that we are doing everything possible, in addition to working with the behavioral analyst team and also bringing cadaver dogs. We're open to anything and everything, and so far, despite our limited resources, it's part of our mission statement with the resources entrusted to us. I think that a lot of people have come alongside us to help us out. That's why I'm optimistic. So we're not doing it alone.
You said that you've been in contact with his father. What has that interaction been like with his immediate loved one? What are they telling you about their reaction to this immense tragedy? How are they handling it?
They're frustrated with the situation, clearly, but this is their son. So, of course, that they have concerns about his safety. But overall, they understand that he does have to be brought in and he has to be held accountable for his actions.
One more question, please. One more question.
Sheriff, I just wanted to clarify that you said that with this survival skills coming to light here, how does that change moving forward as we get further and further into this investigation? How you're going to
Well, we understand that he can cover a lot of ground. I mean, certainly, based off what I know from him, he's in decent shape, and he has the ability to go out there, which, if anyone's been out in that part of the county, is thick. So it's going to make it more challenging for us to locate him, and especially if he's knowledgeable and he knows how to conceal himself. That will make a unique challenge for us. But we feel pretty confident in bringing members of Border Patrol in too, with their experience of working in more diverse terrain, especially along our Canadian border. We have people who are experts in that field as well, and also excel and have the military training as well. I mean, we recognize he's not a subject matter expert. I'm not going to glorify him in that sense. I do appreciate his service, but overall, we have other men and women who are assisting us who are also military veterans and have that kind of background and experience. And I would certainly point out our Forest Service deputy that was able to immediately locate it as soon as we got information about a general area where he's at. We're up for that challenge. So, thank you.
Okay, so that was the most recent press conference. I should have probably told you the date before the time. June 5th of 2025 is when that one was from. Now I'm going to, I think I've already linked it, but I'll make sure to link it if it isn't linked yet. There is this co.chelan.wa.us site, press releases in the case. Very important as well because they update regularly. Here it says update 14:45 hours on 6/6/2025, and they're just going to keep you in the know. So especially if you're local, I would say you need to follow this right here, right? And then if we just quickly go to this GoFundMe as well, it's raised over $1 million, support Whitney Decker. Shame, my goodness. So I said this fundraiser is to support Whitney Decker with expenses and legal costs following the tragic loss of her 3 daughters, Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia. So I'll make sure to link this as well. Let me just see that these Facebook pages, you know, sometimes it skips back. Just hold on one second. Okay, so here we go. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office as well. You could follow, you could already see some of these top posts are obviously of the case, and if you go to them you can actually see the entire timeline of what they shared, when they shared it, the ring cam and everything as well, like this. You could see that ring cam video, and they say why they shared it was to help with identifying him, even though the ring cam was from before he even picked up the girls another time. But they didn't say the exact timeline, but it's to see what he could look like, right? So you could follow this Facebook page as well, which I've linked for you. And then also the Chelan County Mountain Rescue as well. They are updating on exactly which areas are, you know, closed to the public and all of that, right? Dragonfly Lady said, does he have weapons? They don't know if he does or doesn't, but they assume he does. So they're saying they do consider him armed and dangerous. So if you see him, don't approach him, call 911 or the numbers listed below. So just like this one was the most recent one from the Chelan County Mountain Rescue. They said update number 2, and they're showing the areas with the maps that are closed. To avoid confusion, we've removed our previous post. Be aware that the Enchantments and surrounding areas are closed until at least June 18th or until further notice. We strongly urge everyone to avoid the area while law enforcement continues their search for Travis and works to bring closure to this heartbreaking incident. There are still many incredible places to explore in Chelan County. Just steer clear of the Enchantment area for now out of respect for the ongoing investigation and the families affected. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation is what they say. So all of these resources I have made sure to link for you. All of my sources I've also linked for you. And again, thank you to Grizzly Cat for being my source for the documents today, which definitely helped me to piece together even more information. In fact, I'll just quickly show you what the document looks like. So here, I mean, it's very, very detailed. So a lot of these, you saw a lot of screenshots from this that I showed in my presentation, but it just goes through everything that we've learned. It helps to piece together the case without relying just on, you know, media relaying the information. You can read it right here, and I've shared as much as I could with you. There you could see I was busy with the coordinates. Okay, and then there's the criminal complaint as well. And there's many other documents as well, but these are the most important ones. So thank you, Grizzly Cat, for digging those out and pretty much reading my mind this morning of like, are you going to cover this case today? Yes. Yes, I am. So here we are, the affidavit as well. And yeah, there's a warrant out for his arrest. If they find him, he will be arrested and he will be facing charges of first-degree murder ×3 and 3 counts of kidnapping as well. My goodness, what a sad situation. So, I mean, I want to say that we all send condolences to Whitney and her family, but it's, and I do say it, but it's so heavy. I don't even think our words, I don't even know what to say. I'm so speechless and so heartbroken by this case. It's a truly difficult, it's one of the more difficult ones to cover because it's like, you just can't imagine. Look at these little girls. Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia. My goodness. Just, oh my God, I just can't even. Thank you so much for following this case with me. Please like and share. Leave your comments below as well. By liking and sharing, it's not because you like the topic. It helps to get it into the algorithm, which helps more people see it, which helps more people share it. Maybe there's a local who hasn't even heard of this yet. In fact, I did a poll before this live stream started, and 42% had followed this case very closely. 30% followed a bit. 16% had not followed this at all, and 12% had never heard of this. So 28% brand new to the case. And you never know. You never know if a local is like, wait, what? I didn't know about this. Now I'm seeing it here for the first time. We've had instances like that. Next minute, you know, what if they spot him somewhere and can call 911? It can absolutely help the case. So please like, share on all social media, Facebook, Reddit, X, wherever you want to share it. It helps so much, even on email to a friend or whatever. And let's make sure we continue to get the word out, share the flyers. There's lots of flyers on social media as well. And I really hope, as I always say, that I will see you very soon with the press conference where they say that they've actually found him. Whether that's dead or alive, they just need to find him. I hope alive. Justice must be served. And my goodness, yeah, I don't have any other words to say. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you, mods. And I will see you all again very soon. Stay safe.